Right now at 5, drivers taking I-44 on the Will Turner's Turnpike should be aware of construction happening today from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And we are again cold but seasonable. It could be a lot worse. We could be below normal right now. We're going to talk about today's forecast, of course, and about some weekend snow chances coming up.
Also, 5 inmates in Missouri escape a detention center and drive away in a stolen car.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's cold.
Yes,
I'm sure you probably noted this on the way.
It is.
So this is odd. The last time you filled in, you and I both saw that meteor.
Yeah,
On my way in this morning, another one. And it scared me half to death because it just came right overhead and out my driver's side window, so bright and so big. Like, I thought it might have actually reached the ground, but it fizzled out. But still, it was a little bit on the crazy side, so it kind of freaked me out. No meteors in the sky right now, though. As you can see, we are 28 degrees in Joplin, but here's the nice thing. We're not dealing with the gusty winds. It's a calm north-northwesterly breeze, so that's not too bad. Now, we, of course, are cold, but again, this is about normal for this time of year. We have 21 Neodesha, 22 Parsons, 26 Chetopa, Miami, 28 Neosho, Carthage, and up to 27 in Lamar this morning. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks pretty decent, and we are looking at a green light for your morning drive as we've got partly cloudy skies and chilly conditions, and a green light for the drive home as we remain on the chilly side and partly cloudy. Kids getting on the bus. We're going to grab that coat again. 28 degrees by 7 a.m. with a north breeze at about 3 to 5. Calm winds persist into the afternoon, and we warm up a bit up to 38 by about 3 o'clock, partly cloudy. Like yesterday, we're looking at highs roughly in the upper 30s to lower 40s once again. Joplin looking to reach about 44. We'll be partly cloudy, so we'll have a bit more sunshine out there for us. And as we head into tonight, we drop back down to about 31 for an overnight low. Some of us getting back into the upper 20s, so not too terrible overall. And then we're still watching our 2 snow chances. The first one, the rain turning into a wintry mix late Saturday into Sunday. And then we see additional snow chances. We're looking at maybe very late rainfall Monday, translating into some snow by Tuesday of next week. And you can see a little bit of a roller coaster ride on those temperatures. But otherwise, we're actually fairly close to normal. We get a little chilly Sunday and Wednesday, but not bad otherwise, considering it's January. It could be a lot colder sometimes. We've had that happen. So seasonable is a lot better than way below seasonable.
Sounds good. Thank you for the forecast, Chris.
Yeah.
A U.S. District Court orders the world's largest producers of poultry to clean up its waste. Tyson Foods is just one of the dozens poultry companies ordered to clean a watershed polluted by chicken litter. They have 2 months to reach an agreement with the state of Oklahoma. U.S. District Judge Gregory Fizzle in Tulsa ruled these companies polluted the Illinois River, calls a public nuisance and trespass by spreading litter or manure on land in eastern Oklahoma, and that it led to reach this river's watershed. The companies and the state have until March 17th to present an agreement on how to remedy the pollution's effects, which includes low oxygen levels in the river, algae growth, and damage to the fish population. 3 area fire departments respond to a restaurant fire near Monette. Just before 5:45 Thursday morning, reports of a fire at Club's Cafe south of Monette alerted Berry County Emergency Dispatch. Monette Rural Fire District, Monette City Fire Department, and Purity Engine all responded. Upon arrival, first responders saw flames coming out of the vent system to the rear end of the building and through the front of the building from the kitchen area. Crews managed to bring the fire under control by 6:15. The kitchen sustained most of the damage, with some smoke affecting the remainder of the building. Drivers headed out on I-44 Will Rogers Turnpike should be aware of some construction work this morning. Eastbound I-44 Will Rogers Turnpike will be narrowed to 1 lane from mile marker 307 to mile marker 309 between US 59 Afton and State Highway 10 Miami MM 313. Construction is scheduled today from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for routine surface repairs. Motorists should expect minor travel delay and be aware of workers and equipment in the area. An Oklahoma community is mourning and preparing for the funeral of a child. The funeral for 4-year-old Athena Brownfield is scheduled for this coming Wednesday. She was reported missing on January 10th after her sister was found alone by a postal carrier in Cyril, Oklahoma. Court documents say a witness claims one of Athena's caretakers severely beat the child on Christmas and left with her body. The remains of the child were found during the investigations, but authorities have not officially confirmed that they discovered Athena's body. Athena caretakers have been charged in the case. Alyssa Adams is facing charges of 2 counts of child neglect. Ivan Adams faces 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of child neglect. A former gymnastic coach takes a plea deal for child sex crimes. 46-year-old Kip Johnson of Joplin pleads guilty to 2 counts of secondary-degree solitary sodomy. Prosecutors dropped the charge of furnishing pornography to a minor as a part of the deal. Joplin police arrested Johnson in February of 2021 for crimes they say happened in 2018 and 2019. They say he assaulted a juvenile victim who was a gymnastics student at the time. 5 inmates escaped St. Francisco's County Detention Center Tuesday night and drove away in a stolen car. Gabriel Vito has the details and reactions from residents.
Just down the road from the St. Francis County Jail.
When we turned the TV on about 5:30 this morning.
And what was your reaction?
Surprised.
Residents like David Sparks are tuned into the news of 5 inmates on the run.
Being this close to the correction facility, we didn't really expect that. And to find out there was 5 instead of maybe just 1. So that was a bit of a shock.
These are the men authorities have been searching since Tuesday night, with prior charges ranging from burglary and property damage to assault and rape.
We've got seniors, we got all kinds of people, ladies around this area that, so yes, it's very concerning.
The St. Francis County Sheriff believes at around 7 p.m. Tuesday, the inmates got to the detention center's roof through a narrow space where plumbing runs through. Newly shared video shows 2 of those inmates going under the parking lot gate at Centene Corporation, which is near the jail. And less than a minute later, a dark gray 2009 Toyota Scion pulls up to the gate. 3 more inmates get in and they leave. The car has a Missouri temp tag.
I figure if they saw that car just a mile from here, they had 3-hour head start, so they're probably not in this area.
Other residents speaking to News 4 off camera say they're not worried about their safety, assuming these inmates have already left the area. But they do want to know how 5 managed to get away so easily.
It was a little lax, you know, and I'm not disrespecting in the sheriff's department, I was surprised.
Officers from the sheriff's office, as well as outside agencies, are pursuing many leads. If you see these people, do not approach, just call 911.
There is no word yet on the capture of any of the inmates. To see the charges of each inmate, go online to KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Pittsburgh boys will take on Willard in the Bill Hanson Memorial Tournament. We'll have who is moving on in sports. Plus, a new law in Mississippi may put some restrictions on bystanders who film law enforcement officers. And do you fall asleep to music? A new study reviews which songs are the best to get you a good night's sleep. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, yesterday was the opening day of the Bill Hanson Memorial Tournament at Pittsburgh High School. There were 8 games on the schedule between the girls and boys brackets. On the girls' side, the Carthage Tigers are first on the schedule, facing Blue Valley Northwest. The winner of this one moves on to face top-seeded Carl Junction in the semifinals tonight. Lauren Schote, really good early for Carthage, 3 from the left side. Then a few minutes later, Schote from about the same spot. She had 8 in the first quarter, finishes with a team-high 22. Final seconds of the first half, Jaden Brunert sneaks behind the defense for the layup to beat the buzzer. Carthage goes to half up by 5. Third quarter now, Kiana Yates, open 3 from the top of the key. She knocks it down, 17 for Yates. But Blue Valley Northwest owned the second half. Elise Grostadier working inside. She had 14 in the third quarter alone. The Huskies rally in the second half to beat Carthage 58-51. On the boys' side, tournament host Pittsburgh faces Willard in the first round. They really rolled from the beginning. Dan Hastings, corner 3 for Pittsburgh. Dragons up 11 in the first. Mason English drives, scores through the contact. It's a 12-point Pittsburgh lead at half. Second half, Jackson Turnbull inside, scores 18 for the Purple Dragons. Then we go back to Mason English. Easy step back 3 from the corner. English scores 28 to lead Pittsburgh. Purple Dragons beat Willard 79-57. On the other side of the bracket, tough one for the Joplin Eagles facing Washburn Rural in the first round. Joplin not able to keep up, falling in this one 68-30. In Frontenac, day 1 of the Raider Classic, Frontenac girls face Blue Valley Southwest. Starting in the first quarter, Hattie Pyle with it at the top of the key, drives through traffic and finishes with the left. Home team out in front early. Later in the quarter, Kinley Lakey in the corner. Pull-up jumper goes. At that point, it's a tie game, but Frontenac finishes this one off. Hattie Hamblin on the near side, knocks down the jumper. Raiders get it done over Southwest 55-45. Last night was semifinal night in the boys bracket at the Tony Dubray Classic in Liberal. We have a pair of private schools squaring off for a top spot in the championship, with the Colgan Panthers facing the Thomas Jefferson Cavaliers. The winner of this one gets a shot at undefeated Galena in the championship game on Saturday. Starting the second quarter, off the miss, Jay Ball put back 19 points, 24 rebounds for Ball. Later in the second, Cavaliers cruising. Levi Triplett hits the 3. That gets the Thomas Jefferson lead to double digits. On the other end, Panthers trying to stay in it. Gus Keller drives, finishes through traffic for 2. Then off the miss, Karsten Simmons with the rebound. Put back and the foul. Colgan kept this thing close all the way through, but Thomas Jefferson headed to the championship game. Cavaliers win it 64-59. Pittsburgh State Gorillas are on the road for a conference doubleheader against Rogers State. PSU women have won 3 in a row and 8 of their last 10 coming into the night. So they're trying to stay rolling against the Hillcats. That one final with the Gorillas rolling big, 87-47. Tristan Gegg scores a game-high 25 points, hitting 5 threes on the night. After that, Pitt State men hit the floor trying to snap a 5-game losing streak against Rogers State, but the Hillcats get it done at home, 82-70. Marquis English posts a double-double for PSU with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are just 2 days away from their playoff opener. The Chiefs host the Jacksonville Jaguars on Saturday, with the winner moving on to the AFC Championship game. Kansas City is coming off a bye in the first round of the AFC bracket, while Jacksonville knocked off the Chargers 31-30 in their opener last week. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid is 27-4 all-time after a bye week, including 3-0 after a bye in the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback. Now they've already beaten the Jags once this season, 27-17 back in November, but since then Jacksonville is 7-1 and they're not the same old underdog Jags.
Their offense is executing very well. I think they've got a pretty good grasp of what Doug's expecting from them. And I'd say the same thing with Mike Caldwell's defense, that they've got a lot of phenomenal players on that defense, and they're playing faster than we saw them the last time. I think they're just more comfortable overall.
Still to come, Kim Kardashian is now the owner of an iconic necklace worn by Princess Diana. The price to obtain it was most definitely not cheap. Plus, we got another check of that wintry forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. A cold, but as we've mentioned, seasonable start for us today. We're at 28 in Joplin. The good news is the wind is considerably calmer, so no wind chills to really talk about this morning. We're up to 25 Iola, 23 Chanute, 26 Chatopa, Miami, 28 Neosho, Carthage, and we're 29 in Monette this morning. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looking pretty good so far. Got a green light for that morning drive as will be partly cloudy and on the cold side, and a green light for your drive home as will remain partly cloudy and on the cold side as well. So kids will need a coat getting on the bus this morning. 28 with a north breeze at about 3 to 5. Calm winds holding on through today up to 38 by 3 o'clock. And partly cloudy skies. We're trending again like we were yesterday. Some of us will get into the upper 30s and some of us will get into the lower 40s. We're looking at about 44 in Joplin. And again, partly cloudy skies, calm winds, looking pretty good. Tonight, we're going to drop back down into about 31 in Joplin. We're looking at some of us again into the upper 20s, but it could be a lot worse. I'd rather have seasonable temperatures than well below average temperatures out there. Now, we are still watching Saturday into Sunday, where we can start with some rain Saturday, and then as temperatures drop into the evening, we'll start to see a transition to a wintry mix, maybe some light snow as we head into early Sunday morning, and then this system exits out of here. And then we see another system that will come in as we head into very late Monday, early Tuesday morning. Again, we'll be warm enough to start as rain, and then it will transition over to a wintry mix and then perhaps some snow. And this snow could potentially last through a good portion of our Tuesday and even into Wednesday morning. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. So let's take a look at what the 7-day looks like. We're up to 44 tomorrow, and that's when we'll start to see the system move in late tomorrow night and into Sunday morning. Watch out for some slick spots. Right now, between this system here, we're looking at maybe a dusting to an inch or so of snow, so nothing too crazy there. We're up to 50 Monday, and then Tuesday into possibly Wednesday is when that next round of snow comes in. And I want to give you the information here, because this is how wild wintry weather can be, and this is why Doug and Sam will have much more updated accumulation possibilities. Computer models are estimating anywhere between 4 inches of snow and 24 inches of snow with the system Tuesday into Wednesday. So we'll get this refined. Don't panic yet, but just do expect some extra snow as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Well, a new bill is being proposed that will prevent you from making videos of police at a certain distance when officers are on the job. If the bill passes, violators could face jail time. Chris Fields hears from the Commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Public Safety on why he thinks this is an important bill.
Public Safety Commissioner Sean Tyndall says an incident with police in Macomb last year made it evident that a law must be passed here in the state to put more distance between people and police when recording law enforcement activity.
Look, you got to stand 15 foot back, and if you want to violate that, we're going to arrest you too.
Public Safety Commissioner Sean Tyndall says he's in full support of the House Bill 448, which is in committee right now. He says it would create a safety perimeter when law enforcement is working.
And one of the biggest issues we have now when there's an arrest or when there's even a basic traffic stop is individuals failing to follow basic compliance and instructions. And so I think it's one thing to say you need to back up, I need room. I think it's another thing when they can cite a state law that says you have to give me 15 feet.
The proposed bill prohibits a person who is not the subject of police contact from video recording law enforcement activity within a certain number of feet of the law enforcement officer, when the officer has given clear verbal instruction to the person to stand no less than 15 feet away from activity.
I think that's safe for the officer, it's safe for the person filming, and it's safe for the subject of any investigation.
Tyndall says the bill was created after a traffic stop last year in Macomb involving Mississippi Highway Patrol and other individuals at a scene on Schmidt Road. Tyndall says a man arrived on the scene, videoing law enforcement and yelling profane language.
They recognize that these situations could be volatile, and this was a great means by which we can educate the public to maintain a safe perimeter, and the officers have a guideline they can give them.
Madison County Representative Jill Ford introduced the bill. She sent Fox 40 News this statement. My intent for introducing this legislation is to protect everyone involved, the perpetrator, pedestrian, and patrolman. The deadline for the bill to come out of committee is January 31st before it can be sent to the full House. Then if passed by the House, it will then be sent over to the Senate, where it will go through the same process.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you think the public has the right to record law enforcement officers? Yes or no? You can vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Do so in our app. Take part in discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. Intermediate fasting may not be the key to weight loss. A report in the Journal of American Health Association suggests that if you're trying to lose weight, what you eat is more important than when you eat. The study analyzed eating patterns of hundreds of adults from different health systems and found that, quote, total overall calorie intake and the major driver of weight gain. More research may be needed into the best way to lose weight, since some doctors criticize the effectiveness of the study, which left out exercise as a weight loss factor. Still, the main takeaway stands. A healthy lifestyle depends on eating healthy foods. A new study finds the best music to fall asleep to includes a Billie Eilish song. Researchers in Denmark studied more than 200,000 sleep songs on Spotify to see if any of them had similarities, including quiet and slow-paced features. Songs with acoustic instruments are generally played to fall asleep compared to tracks with lyrics and amplified music. But some songs with a higher energy did make the cut in the study. Revealed Lovely by Billie Eilish and Dynamite by boy band BTS were top songs to fall asleep to. The researchers credit this to relaxation caused by familiarity with the tracks. Nearly half of U.S. adults say the nation's health care system has, quote, major problems. That's according to the latest Gallup report released Thursday. And for the first time in a 20-year trend, the number of adults who rated the system as poor jumped above 20%. Those who rated the quality of the U.S. healthcare system as excellent or good dropped below 50%. Satisfaction has remained high among adults ages 55 and up, but declined among young adults and middle-aged adults. That may be a reflection of the views on abortion access and other changes that happened during COVID-19 pandemic, according to Gallup. That's a look at today's some of health stories. You're watching KOAM Morning News.
We are watching some cold temperatures across the area, and it is going to possibly even snow this weekend and next week. We're going to take a look at your full forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, drivers taking I-44 on the Will Rogers Turnpike should be aware of construction happening today from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And we are going to be cloudy, or not cloudy, we're going to be cold with a little more sunshine today. We're going to talk about our forecast, our temperatures, and some incoming snow chances coming up.
Also, an 18-year-old is in custody in connection with a shooting at an Oklahoma basketball game.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner, so I've been so used to saying cloudy over the last few days that it just kind of comes out naturally. But we're actually going to see a bit more sunshine today, as well as partly cloudy skies throughout most of today. We still have another chilly but seasonable day in store for us. We are cold this morning, but again, about right on the mark where we should be. So remember, it could be a lot colder, so seasonable temperatures are better than below average temperatures. We're 28 in Joplin. We're also not looking at the big gusty winds. We got calm winds across the area, so no big wind chills out there. We're at 25 Iola, 23 Chanute, 26 Chatopa, Miami, 28 Neosho, Carthage, and 27 in Lamar this morning. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looks pretty good this morning. We do have a green light for your morning drive. It's going to be partly cloudy but cold, and a green light for your drive home as we are partly cloudy and still on the chilly side. Kids getting on the bus this morning, grab that coat. It's going to be cold, 28 at 7 a.m., partly cloudy with a light breeze. And as we head into the afternoon, still partly cloudy, about 38 by 3 o'clock today. For today, we're looking at a high around 44 degrees. Some of us, though, won't make it out of the upper 30s again, but it'll still be all right because we're going to get a little more sunshine today, and we don't have the big winds to contend with. And as we head into tonight, dropping back down to a low of about 31 degrees with partly cloudy skies across the region. So another nice evening for us as well. 7-day, we got some rain Saturday that as the evening progresses will turn into a wintry mix and then some light snow heading into Sunday. No major accumulations expected out of this one, but do watch out for slick spots. We're up to 50 next Monday, and then we see another system coming in very late Monday night, early Tuesday morning. It could bring us snow through a good portion of our Tuesday, possibly into early Wednesday morning. That one is the one we're watching, where we could see a little bit more snow accumulation. Now, we're still a ways out. As I mentioned earlier, the computers This is how far out we are. Show anywhere from 4 to 24 inches of snow possible. So we'll get those amounts refined as we head through the weekend into the start of next week. So don't panic yet. Just be aware that Tuesday into Wednesday looks to be our best chance of some accumulating snowfall, and we'll keep an eye on that for you and keep you updated. But otherwise, our temperatures not looking too bad over the next several days. They're staying pretty seasonable for this time of year.
Well, thank you. Sounds good, Chris. Thank you. 3 area fire departments respond to a restaurant fire near Monette. Just before 5:45 Thursday morning, reports of a fire at Clubs Cafe south of Monette alerted Berry County Emergency Dispatch. Monette Rural Fire District, Monette City Fire Department, and Purdy Engine all responded. Upon arrival, first responders saw flames coming out of the vent system to the rear of the building and through the front of the building from the kitchen area. Crews managed to bring the fire under control by 6:15. The kitchen sustained most of the damage, with smoke affecting the remainder of the building. Drivers heading out on the I-44 Will Rogers Turnpike should be aware of some construction work this morning. Eastbound I-44 Will Rogers Turnpike will be narrowed to 1 lane from mile marker 307 to mile marker 309 between US 59 Afton and State Highway 10 Miami MM 313. Construction is scheduled today from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for routine surface repairs. Motorists should expect minor travel delays and be aware of workers and equipment in the area. An Oklahoma community is mourning as they prepare for the funeral of a child. The funeral for 4-year-old Athena Brownfield is scheduled for this coming Wednesday. She was reported missing on January 10th after her sister was found alone by a postal carrier in Cyril, Oklahoma. Court documents say a witness claims one of Athena's caretakers severely beat the child on Christmas and left with her body. The remains of a child were found during the investigation, but authorities have not officially confirmed that they discovered Athena's body. Athena's caretakers have been charged in the case. Alyssa Adams is facing charges of 2 counts of child neglect. Ivan Adams is facing 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of child neglect. In Oklahoma, an 18-year-old is in custody in connection with a shooting at a high school basketball game Tuesday night. It happened in Del City, just outside of Oklahoma City. The game has just ended and people were leaving the field house when shots were fired. The sound of gunfire was caught on video. Game commenters can be seen ducking for cover and fans running. Alexa Williams reports.
Our officers were attempting to get people out of the building while also trying to identify if there was an ongoing threat to people inside.
Police say gunshots were fired around 7:36 Tuesday night inside the Del City High School basketball game.
From the John Smith Fieldhouse tonight, where the Millwood Falcons fall.
But they said their officers were there ready, doing what they could to keep everyone safe.
So we had 4 officers that were already on scene at that time. 2 were providing security for Middle schools for the basketball game, and there were 2 others that were on duty who had stopped to assist them just as the game was ending.
They say they have meetings with the school administration to discuss safety protocols to keep students, staff, and visitors safe during school events. But after Tuesday's shooting, he says they may be making some changes.
The administration and their security that's through Middle schools was on scene last night, and so they've already had a good idea as to what we were encountering as well, and we've worked with them for many, many years. And so I imagine that once the investigation comes to a close, we'll be sitting down with them and kind of going over, what we need to do as a department and what they need to do as a school.
More shots were repeatedly fired in the parking lot. 1 person was taken to an area hospital in a private vehicle where they were listed in stable conditions. No Del City High School students were injured. This morning, we are discussing recording the police.
A public safety commissioner in Mississippi says an incident with police in the state last year made it evident that a law must be passed that would put more distance between people and police when recording law enforcement activity. He says he's in full support of the House Bill 448, which is in committee right now. He says it will create a safety perimeter when law enforcement is working.
The proposed bill prohibits a person who is not the subject of police contact from video recording law enforcement activity within a certain number of feet of law enforcement, when the officer has given clear verbal instructions to the person to stand no less than 15 feet away from activity.
And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Does the public have the right to record law enforcement officers? So far, 88% of you say yes, 12% of you say no. Make sure you vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
That's a look at our top stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A rare snowy owl is spotted in western Kansas. However, the owl was injured and is now being nursed back to health by caregivers.
Plus, federal prosecutors dropped charges against an NYPD officer who was accused of being a Chinese spy. We'll have the latest.
Topping World Watch, Kim Kardashian is now the owner of an iconic piece of jewelry. Kardashian brought the amethyst and diamond cross necklace worn by Princess Diana. The necklace is known as Atala cross, was auctioned off by Sotheby's auction on Wednesday. Kardashian's winning bid was nearly $200,000. The Princess of Wales wore the necklace at a 1987 London charity gala. Federal prosecutors dropped their charges against a New York City police officer who was accused of spying for China. The announcement marks the end of a 2-year ordeal for Bamana Hal Angwan, a naturalized U.S. Chinese citizen from Tibet who served as both a police officer in Queens and as a Marine. Prosecutors charged Angwan with spying on Tibetans, advocating for independence, and supplying information to the Chinese government. An emotional announcement: one of the most influential leaders on the global stage is stepping down. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says she doesn't have enough left in the tank after 5.5 years in the role. Helena Humphrey reports.
In a televised address, Jacinda Ardern, one of the world's most famous female leaders, explained her reasons for resigning.
I know what this job takes, and I know that I no longer have enough in the tank to do it justice.
Describing her tenure as New Zealand's Prime Minister as the most fulfilling experience of her life, Ardern says there's no secret scandal behind her departure, just fatigue.
I think the cumulative challenges that we've faced as a team, and they have been extraordinary, has taken its toll. I consider this job a privilege, but I am also human.
When Ardern became Prime Minister in 2017 at the age of 37, she was one of the world's youngest state leaders. Less than a year later, she had her first child. She steered her country through turbulent times, including the aftermath of a mass shooting at 2 mosques and the COVID-19 pandemic.
She's had to face a lot of drama and stress and strife.
But the latest polls indicate her Labour Party may face a difficult path to re-election come October. Her critics say she failed to deliver the transformational government she'd promised.
Overseas, she's definitely viewed very well, whereas I think internally she's probably maybe lost the public's acceptance a little bit.
Bowing out, Ardern says a leader has to know when to go, a sense of self-awareness that her admirers say has characterised her time in office. Helena Humphrey, CBS News, London.
Jacinda Ardern says she will step down by February 7th. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we got a cold start for us today, but again, temperatures are about right where they should be for us. We are sitting at 28 in Joplin. We've got clear skies out there and a calm breeze compared to what we saw yesterday, so no wind chills to talk about. We're at 23 Yates Center, 24 Iola, 22 Parsons, 26 Miami, 28 Neosho Carthage, and 25 in Nevada this morning. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Looks pretty good so far. We have a green light for your morning drives. It'll be partly cloudy and cold, and we hang on to that green light for your drive home as we will remain partly cloudy and still a bit on that cold side. So that does mean kids are going to need to bundle up this morning. 28 degrees at 7 a.m. when they get on the bus, and we'll hold on to calm winds through the day, 38 by 3 o'clock. And for today, heading for a high of about 44 degrees. Some of us will still be in the upper 30s, but again, it could be a lot worse. We could be below average. Partly cloudy skies as we go through the day. As we head into tonight, we're watching partly cloudy skies, and we drop back down to a low of about 31. Now, we are watching some snow chances as we head into the weekend and into next week. So this is why I want to show you. This is Saturday morning. We start off with some rain with temperatures being above freezing. As the evening progresses, we'll see that rain start to transition into a wintry mix and perhaps some light snow across the area lasting into very early Sunday morning. We're not looking at any significant accumulations at this time out of this system, and it exits out Sunday morning, and then by Monday, late night, early Tuesday morning, here comes our next system. Now again, we're still above freezing. So it starts as rain, but as we go through the day on Tuesday, it starts to transition over to a wintry mix and then to just straight snow. So this is Tuesday night. As you can see, some widespread snow across the area, and it could hold on into very early Wednesday morning, and that's the system that is got the best chance of bringing us some accumulating snowfall. So we'll keep an eye on it for you. You keep an eye on it as well. One thing to watch out for sure is slick roads as we head into Saturday night and into Sunday morning. We're up to 44 tomorrow, 37 on Sunday. We make it to a nice 50 degrees on Monday, which will be pretty good. And we're at 40 on Tuesday, and that's when we see that snowfall chance. And by Wednesday, we're only at 36, then 42 by Thursday. Then we're watching maybe some flurry chances next Friday up to 44. And then we start to see a little bit of a warming trend as we head into next Wednesday, 47, or next weekend. And we get to 47 on Saturday and up to 56 Sunday. We're back with more right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A former gymnastic coach takes a plea deal for child sex crimes. 46-year-old Kip Johnson of Joplin pleads guilty to 2 counts of second-degree statutory sodomy. Prosecutors dropped the charge of furnishing pornography to a minor as a part of the deal. Joplin police arrested Johnson in February of 2021 for crimes they say happened in 2018 and 2019. They say he assaulted a juvenile victim who was his gymnastics student at the time. 3 area fire departments respond to a restaurant fire near Monette. Just before 5:45 Thursday morning, reports of a fire at Clubs Cafe south of Monette alerted Berry County Emergency Dispatch. Monette Rural Fire District, Monette City Fire Department, and Purdy Engine all responded. Upon arrival, first responders saw flames coming out the vent system to the rear of the building and through the front of the building from the kitchen area. Crews managed to bring the fire under control by 6:15. The kitchen sustained most of the damage, with smoke affecting the remainder of the building. A string of recent vacant home fires have caught Joplin firefighters by surprise. The Joplin Fire Department is responding to more vacant structure fires than they have in the past. And every year, the Joplin Fire Department tries to inspect all businesses in the city. Some of those inspections took place on Thursday. According to Captain Grimes, the purpose of inspections are to make sure property, employees, and customers are safe. Each of the 6 fire departments in Joplin will inspect 100 to 200 businesses a year. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. We'll be right back. A rare discovery in Kansas. Someone spotted for the first time ever a snowy owl in Lane County in the western part of the state. A game warden found the bird injured and rescued it. It is now undergoing treatment to bring it back to health. Austin Morton spoke with the caregivers about the care the owl is receiving.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't take off.
Me too.
Oh dear, yeah.
Carrie Newell has been rehabilitating animals for nearly 3 decades.
I've been doing it for almost 29 years and got certified through International Wildlife Rehabilitation Council. That was back in 2000.
Throughout all of those years, snowy owls haven't been regular patients.
Just 6 actually, and only had 2 that did well.
But when Carrie got the call, she was ready to add another success story to her list.
It was Monday the 16th they brought them. The officer called me and they just caught it and said, I'm driving over 2.5 hours to get up to you.
Carrie and her team used those 2.5 hours to prepare for the owl's arrival, making sure it got the help it needed.
I do an exam, a full body exam, where I weigh them, I do the body check, and like this one was emaciated, the weight told me he was emaciated. You can't go too fast because you could do they already start getting damage to their organs when they're emaciated and dehydrated.
And within the week, he's already looking better.
He's more physical. He's also letting me know he's not happy, and he's biting on my glove when I have to clean things.
Even though this is not an animal she normally sees, Carrie's just happy she can help get it home.
Oh my gosh, this is just a passion I have, and I try to respect all the animals no matter what they are, but when you get these special ones, wow, how do you not want to work even harder?
Once the snowy owl is back to full health, he'll be transported to the Minnesota Zoo, where they'll be able to get him back into his natural habitat in Canada.
We'll be right back with more after this. They made it to the moon and back. Now NASA is hoping these mannequins can share some secrets about space travel. Scientists are currently analyzing data from the 2 female mannequins at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Both Helga and Zonar spent 25 days in space aboard this Artemis 1 Orion spacecraft, equipped with radiation detectors. Scientists will use this information they collected to determine what level of radiation risk astronauts could have on future Artemis 1 and other missions. This Valentine's Day, the Brookfield Zoo in Brookfield, Illinois is offering several gift ideas for kids, penguin lovers, and even those who may have been scorned by an ex-significant other. For penguin lovers, you can adopt Valiento and Patty, who are featured in this Valentine's Day. There are 3 packages: the basic package, which costs $35, the $59 plus package, and the $75 plus and tote package. For those scorned by an ex, with minimum donation of $15, you can name a Madagascar hissing cockroach after the person who scorned you. Those who do this get a certificate of naming that can be filled out and shared and hung onto a wall for the holiday. The penguin packages must be received on or before February 5th between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. And for your ex name to appear on cockroach naming board, donations must be received by the end of the day, February 6th.
We've got a cold start for us today. As we look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and range line, we're looking good for your morning drive. Green light, partly cloudy and cold. And for your evening drive, we're looking partly cloudy and still cold again. Kids getting on the bus will need to bundle up as we're 28 at 7 a.m. But we got calm winds this time around, 38 by 3 o'clock and still partly cloudy. Partly cloudy skies through today, heading for a high of about 44 degrees. And as we head into tonight, we will remain partly cloudy with calm winds down to 31 for our low. We are watching some snow chances heading into the weekend and into next week. We'll take a look at your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 6, multiple area departments respond to a kitchen fire in a Berry County restaurant.
And we've got a cold start for us today. It's going to still be seasonable but cold for us across the area, but we're tracking snow chances, not just 1 but 2 of them. We'll break it down coming up.
Also, Joplin firefighters respond to a number of vacant house fires in recent days. KOAM Sagoon Bombadeli catches up with the JFD to learn more about this uptick.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 6 o'clock. A cold start for us today, but we don't have the 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts to contend with either, so it's a little bit better out there. At least it doesn't feel any colder than what it already is. But we are cold. 26 in Joplin right now with those calm winds, though. So take a look across the area. Again, seasonably cold. 24 in Iola, 22 Parsons, 25 Chautauqua, Miami, 27 Neosho, and 26 in Lamar and Carthage this morning. MoDOT camera at I-44 and range line. We're still looking good out there. We got a green light for that morning drive as we're partly cloudy and cold. We have a green light for your drive home as well, as we'll still be partly cloudy and cold. So with that cold weather, kids, keep that in mind when you're heading to the bus stop this morning. 28 at 7 a.m., partly cloudy and calm winds. And as we head into the afternoon, 38 by 3 o'clock and remaining partly cloudy. We're looking at a high of about 44 in Joplin today, but some of us will still be stuck in the upper 30s, but we've got a little more sunshine out there, so we'll be partly cloudy through the day. And as we head into this evening, we drop back down to 31 degrees under those partly cloudy skies. So we've been talking about the snow. We have 2 chances of snow coming up. The first one is this weekend. We've got rain Saturday that will turn into a wintry mix and then some light snow Sunday. Right now, not anticipating any major accumulations out of this, but it could lead to some slick spots on the roadway. The big system we're watching comes after that beautiful Monday at 50 degrees. That's going to be early Tuesday morning through Tuesday, possibly into early Wednesday morning. It's going to start as rain early Tuesday morning and then transition to that wintry mix and some snow. And it could snow most of our Tuesday and into very early Wednesday morning. That particular one is the best one that could bring us some accumulating snowfall As you see, we're only up to 36 Wednesday, so we're not talking about any crazy rapid melting. The thing is, and this is why Doug and Sam and I will continue to monitor this. We'll have the latest accumulation totals for you through the weekend and into Monday, so you'll want to stay tuned, because it's still so far out that the computer models that we look at, we've been discussing this morning, they show anywhere from 4 inches of snow to 24 inches of snow. So don't panic yet. That's a very wide gap, and it'll get narrowed down as we get a little bit closer, but it looks to be the best chance for accumulating snow as we head into next week. So something we're keeping an eye on, something you need to keep an eye on, and just be prepared for some wintry conditions as we head into next week.
Alrighty, thank you, Chris, for the forecast. Drivers heading out on I-44 Will Rogers Turnpike should be aware of some construction work this morning. Eastbound I-44 Will Rogers Turnpike will be narrowed to one lane from mile marker 307 to mile marker 309 between US 59 Afton and State Highway 10, Miami 313. Construction is scheduled from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. this morning for routine surface repairs. Motorists should expect minor travel delays and be aware of workers and equipment in the area. For the first time since COVID, the Joplin Police Department is inspecting businesses within the city. KOAM Carrie Wharton went with firefighters to find out why these checks are vital.
So as long as you stack stuff and keep an 18-inch clearance from your sprinkler heads.
In addition to fighting fires, the Joplin Fire Department inspects local businesses, making sure they follow code. Each of the 6 fire stations inspect 100 to 200 businesses a year.
So every year we try to inspect every business in the city, and the purpose of those inspections are to make sure that the property is safe and that the occupants have a reasonable expectation of safety while they're there. Plus we want to help protect the property itself.
Regional Eye Center is just one of many businesses they inspect. This was Surgery Center Administrator Lindsay Hobson's first examination.
I wasn't sure all the different places they would need to go to see everything, which was everywhere, all the places.
Grimes said that the first inspection can be stressful, but is also helpful.
So we help them to understand it protects their property, protects the lives of the people that work here, and more importantly, their customers that come and keep them in business.
It's very important that we know that everything's in working order and that if we have an emergency that the sprinkler system will work and that they will be able to come quickly and help us.
The walkthrough also allows the department to update information about the business. The captain showed me new software that helps track calls, inspections, and business contact information.
It helps us to do our job more efficiently and effective. It allows dispatch to get us the information faster, which generally translates into a faster response and usually a better outcome.
In Joplin, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Captain Grimes told KOAM that if a business has anything that needs to be added or changed after the inspection, the business normally has 14 days to complete that. 3 area fire departments respond to a restaurant fire near Monette. Just before 5:45 Thursday morning, reports of a fire at Clubs Cafe south of Monette alerted Berry County Emergency Dispatch. Monette Rural Fire District, Monette City Fire Department, and Purity Engine all responded. Upon arrival, first responders saw flames coming out of the vent systems to the rear of the building and through the front of the building from the kitchen area. Crews managed to bring the fire under control by 6:15. The kitchen sustained most of the damage, with smoke affecting the remainder of the building. A string of recent vacant home fires have caught Joplin firefighters by surprise. The Joplin Fire Department is responding to more vacant structure fires than they have in the past.
You know, within the city of Joplin, we do seem like we have a lot of structure fires. It's not much more than most communities. A lot of those are within vacant structures, but it's, you know, it's one of those situations where a vacant structure is always going to be at greater risk of having a fire than one that have people in it and tending to it all the time.
Both police and fire department says regardless of the circumstances, protecting the residents of Joplin is their main priority. Tax season is almost here, which means so are the scammers. The Better Business Bureau says tax scams are some of the most common out there. They generally take form as scammers pretend to be with the IRS, asking for personal information to fix an issue with your taxes. The regional director of the BBB says the IRS will always contact you with a letter first, before other means.
So you just want to be careful and not share any personal information with unsolicited phone calls. You want to take your time. That's what scammers are counting on. They're counting on that little bit of fear, that rush to take care of a problem, that you won't take the time to do the research and figure out who's actually calling.
Another tip to avoid scams, get your taxes filed as soon as possible so scammers can't file a fake one in your name. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, charges brought against a Hollywood actor.
Alec Baldwin will face criminal charges for that fatal film set shooting. I'm Jared Hill with why prosecutors say even if this was an accident, Baldwin should be held responsible.
Plus, we known for decades that exercise helps keep us healthy. So why aren't more Americans active? We got the answers. Plus, we're busting a few exercise myths in the process. And Chris has another look at just how the 4 states weekend is going to be. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nature Watch this morning, legendary folk walk musician David Crosby has died at the age of 81. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn reports on Crosby's life and music legacy, which spanned close to 6 decades.
Born in Los Angeles in 1941, David Crosby recorded his first solo album in 1963. His music career quickly grew when he became a founding member of 2 iconic folk rock bands, The Byrds and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young.
Singing, that's a joy. It's really fun to do.
A 2019 documentary looked back on Crosby's long and storied career on stage and behind the scenes. Despite decades of success, he displayed modesty at a comedy and music benefit concert in 2013.
I was going to say I'm music to walk out by, but I hope the audience will stick around after the comedians. I'm just going to cap it with a couple of songs.
Vocal harmonies and inventive guitar playing put his music into another realm for his fans and music critics alike. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2 times and also entered the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Crosby lived the life of a rock and roll star. A 2014 Rolling Stone magazine article called him rock's unlikeliest survivor. David Crosby was 81. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
The 1969 self-titled debut album, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, unleashed a wave of success that was showcased the same year at Woodstock, and his hits kept coming in as LPs that followed, including Deja Vu. It's been more than a year since the tragic shooting death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of the film Rust, and now authorities say actor Alec Baldwin and the film's weapons specialist will face criminal charges. Jared Hill reports from New York.
A New Mexico district attorney announced actor and producer Alec Baldwin will be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the 2021 fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of the film Rust.
If you commit a crime or you act in reckless disregard of someone's life, then you should be held to account for that. And that's what we're doing.
I was the one holding the gun, yeah.
Baldwin was rehearsing a scene with Hutchins and director Joel Souza when the gun went off. Souza was also wounded. Here's what Baldwin told investigators at the time.
In the rehearsal, there should have been nothing. It should have been a cold gun with no rounds inside or dummy rounds. I take the gun out slowly, I cock the pistol, bang, it goes off, she hits the ground.
Baldwin later told ABC News he didn't actually pull the trigger, but prosecutors say the forensics from the FBI report indicate otherwise.
This was recklessness. This was a negligent discharge of a firearm because he pulled that trigger.
CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman says Baldwin may have thought the case was behind him after a settlement with Hutchins' family that allowed the movie to restart filming.
It might, in the end, force a plea to a lesser charge.
The film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, is also facing 2 involuntary manslaughter charges. Assistant director David Halls, who handed the gun to Baldwin, agreed to plead guilty to negligent use of a firearm. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The New Mexico District Attorney says those charges will be filed by the end of the month, and after that, the court will determine the schedule for appearances. Thursday evening, the Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists Unions released a statement in support of Baldwin, calling the charges, quote, wrong and uninformed. That's a look at 2 of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty chilly start for us out there, but again, these temperatures are about where they should be, so just bear in mind that we have seen worse situations where they've been well below normal across the region. MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line is looking pretty good this morning. We're tracking some snow chances heading into this weekend and into next week, where we could actually see some accumulating snowfall. We'll talk about your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, coming up on 6:18 this morning, and we have some time for some weather trivia, and we want to know, what is the phenomenon in which rain evaporates before it reaches the ground? Is it evaporatus, flockus, streakus, or virga? Flockus and streakus almost sound Greek. Well, we're going to find out the answer to that question here in a little bit, but first, let's take a look at our current conditions. We're 26 in Joplin, feeling like 26 because the wind is calm, and it's going to be that way through most of the day. Clear skies out there. See a few passing clouds later today. 24 in Iola and Pittsburgh, 22 Parsons, 25 Chautauqua, Miami, 27 Neosho, and 26 in Carthage and Lamar this morning. MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line looks really good, and we do have a green light for your morning drive as we are partly cloudy and cold, and we're going to hold on to that green light through the afternoon and your evening drive as we stay partly cloudy and pretty cold. So that means the kids are going to want to grab that coat heading to the bus stop. So we're 28 at 7 a.m., partly cloudy with a light breeze. Light breeze later today as well, 38 at 3 o'clock with partly cloudy skies. Now for today, heading for high of about 44 degrees. Some of us, though, will barely make it into the upper 30s. We'll make it up to the upper 30s, but may not push that 40-degree mark, so just be aware. Otherwise, we are partly cloudy, so we're going to see a little more sunshine today and a lot less wind. Same as we head into tonight, partly cloudy skies, dropping back down to a low of 31 degrees. Now for what we are really watching over the next few days. We head into tomorrow. This is 11 a.m. We start to see some rain out there. Some of us, where it's a little cooler in the north, could be in the wintry mix. And then that'll translate into some wintry mix and snow as the evening progresses and we all begin to cool down a bit. And that snow should taper off early Sunday morning. Now, we're not expecting major accumulations out of this system, but it could still lead to slick spots out on the roadways, so be careful. Then we head into Monday. Here's Tuesday early morning. Some rain out there. We're still a little bit on the mild side. We're above freezing, so it'll start as rain, but then as we head through Tuesday, it doesn't really do a lot of warming, and we start to see this translate over to a wintry mix and some snowfall. And as temperatures drop heading into Tuesday night, it becomes an all-snow event, and that'll carry on through very early Wednesday morning before it kicks on out of here. That's the system that could bring us some accumulating snowfall, so that's the one we all want to keep an eye on as we head through the next several days. And of course, through the weekend, again, slick spots still possible, so do be cautious Saturday night into Sunday. Back to our weather trivia question. So what is this phenomenon known as? Well, if you happen to pick D, virga, you would be correct. And see, you hear us talk about virga because sometimes it even shows up on the radar even though the rain isn't actually falling. And virga is rain that falls into extremely dry air and is evaporated before it can reach the ground. And like I said, sometimes radar will pick up on that rainfall in the clouds, but because it's so dry down below, it evaporates before it gets here. So we're up to 44 tomorrow, 37 Sunday. There's those wintry precipitation chances. Monday looks pretty good, mostly cloudy, but up to 50 degrees. 40 by Tuesday was, again, we don't do a lot of warming. That's why we get this system coming through and could give us some accumulating snowfall. 36 Wednesday, up to 42 on Thursday, and then we try and start warming up toward the weekend. Maybe some flurries early Friday, up to 44, and then we're 47 next Saturday and 56 by next Sunday with partly cloudy skies. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, getting colon cancer patients chemotherapy before surgery may have long-term benefits. A UK-funded clinical trial found chemotherapy before rather than after surgery increased the chances of destroying cancer cells, and patients were significantly less likely to see their cancer return. Researchers at Tufts University say more Americans are turning to dollar stores for groceries. From 2008 to 2020, people in low-income and rural communities, especially in the South, spent more than 5% of their food budget at dollar store chains. Researchers say those stores typically stock food and beverages lower in nutrition and higher in calories and lack fresh produce and meats. And a new series in Lancet highlights the need for a so-called One Health approach to tackle public health emergencies like COVID-19. The authors advocate human, animal, and environmental health organizations working together with a focus on prevention and preparedness, arguing that the comprehensive goal strategy would save money and lives. A recent study found more than 110,000 deaths could be prevented per year in the U.S. if adults over the age of 40 spent an additional 10 minutes a day engaged in physical activity. So what's holding Americans back when it comes to getting active? It could be what you don't know.
Exercise can boost energy, promote weight loss, improve sleep, and lessen your risk for a slew of health conditions. But there are a lot of myths about physical activity that could prevent you from reaping the full benefits. The first fallacy, lifting heavy weights will cause women to bulk up. The truth is, women have lower levels of testosterone, so they won't build massive muscles. Another myth, you can reduce fat in a specific area. You can't control what part of your body burns fat. Also, if you've been told to stick with one type of activity, you've been misinformed. That's because your body gets used to it.
Switch it up. If you're running all the time, take a break and do Pilates and then go back to it.
Another myth, running is bad for your knees. Northwestern Medicine says that regular running strengthens the joints and protects against osteoarthritis. Also, you might have heard that you need to stretch before a workout, but this is untrue. It's more effective to stretch after a workout when your muscles are warm. The notion that exercise will offset a bad diet is also false. Diet and nutrition typically play a larger role than exercise when it comes to weight management. And if you've been told results from exercise come quickly, think again.
When you're involved in the gym, you're probably looking at 4 to 6 weeks before you should honestly begin to start to see some changes.
Dow Quick, KOAM News.
Another common myth is that you have to sweat to have a good workout. Factors like temperature, humidity, and your hydration levels may affect how much you sweat. Additionally, some people's bodies are just more effective at cooling themselves, so they sweat less. That's a look at today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are looking at some cold temperatures across the region. We're at 26 in Joplin right now, but the good news is we have a calm wind, so we're not dealing with the big wind chills like we had yesterday. We're knocking us down by about 10 degrees out there. 22 Iola, Yates Center, Chanute, Parsons, 26 Chetopa, Miami, Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, and 25 as we start our Friday. Finally Friday. Isn't that great? It's nice to be able to get to Friday. We're starting to see the sun light starting to peek out here on the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. We're looking at a green light for your morning drive as we are partly cloudy and cold to start the day, and a green light for your drive home as we remain partly cloudy and chilly into the evening hours. Today, kids, grab that coat. It's going to be 28 degrees at 7 a.m. when you get on the bus, but again, a calm wind, so that's quite nice. And as you head home at about 3 o'clock, we're looking at 38 degrees, partly cloudy, still a calm wind. We're going to remain partly cloudy through today, highs pushing about 44 in Joplin. Some of us, though, will maybe make it to about 40, so some of us be a little cooler. Same tonight. We're going to drop down to 31, partly cloudy skies and a calm wind. We're watching 2 opportunities for snow in the next several days. The first one comes as early as tomorrow. We'll start as rain Saturday evening, and as temperatures drop into the overnight, it switches to a wintry mix and into some light snow Sunday morning. We're not looking at significant accumulations out of this system, but slick spots are definitely possible, and we're up to 37 by Sunday. Monday looks great, 50 degrees, mostly cloudy. Could use a little more sunshine, but not bad. Then early Tuesday, we're going to start with some rain because you see we only drop down to 37, so it'll be mild enough. We make it up to 40. Then this rain turns to a wintry mix and snow, and this system could actually give us some accumulating snowfall, so we're going to keep an eye on that for you. Once it kicks out of here, we're down to 19, 36 Wednesday, and up to 42 by next Thursday. We're back with more right after this.
Right now at 6:30, multiple area fire departments respond to a kitchen fire in Berry County restaurant.
We've got a chilly start for us today. Roads are looking good. They will stay that way, but there are changes in this forecast. We're going to talk about them coming up.
Also, Joplin firefighters respond to a number of vacant house fires in recent days. KOAM Sagoon Bomadelli catches up with the JFD to learn more about this uptick.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is cold out there this morning, but it is seasonable. And remember, February of 2021, when we saw temperatures that were extraordinarily below seasonable. We're talking single digits and below zero temperatures. So it's better to be seasonable than well below. Sun's starting to slowly rise out there. 26 in Joplin. The wind is calm, which is a good thing, and it'll stay that way today. 22 in Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, and Parsons. 21 Neodesha, 26 Miami, Neosho, Carthage, and Lamar, and 25 in Nevada. That MoDOT camera looking pretty good out there, and we do have a green light for your morning drive. It's going to be partly cloudy and cold, and a green light for the drive home, as we will remain partly cloudy and chilly. Kids are going to want to grab that nice coat when they get on the bus this morning. It's going to be 28 degrees at 7 a.m., but at least we have a light breeze, which is a good thing. And as we head home, we're looking at 38 by 3 o'clock and remaining partly cloudy. Now for today, we're looking at highs pushing upper 30s, lower 40s again, aiming for 44 in Joplin with partly cloudy skies, and partly cloudy tonight as we drop back down to a low right around 31 degrees. It's what's coming in that I want to talk to you about. So let's look at the 7-day. All right. Saturday, Sunday, we're going to have some rain. It's going to start Saturday because it's going to be warm enough. As temperatures drop through the evening, it'll transition to a wintry mix, perhaps some light snow, and that'll turn into some light snow as we head into early Sunday morning. Now, with this particular system, significant accumulations are not expected, but we could see maybe 1, 2, possibly 3 inches of snow, and we'll keep an eye on those accumulation totals for you, and Sam will have the latest tonight at 5, 6, 9, and 10. Then Monday, we're 50 degrees. Not bad. Then Tuesday, early Tuesday morning, see we drop down to 37 Monday night. We'll have a system come in. It's going to start as rain. As the day progresses, it will eventually translate into a wintry mix, followed by some snow. That snow will last through the majority of Tuesday, possibly into very early Wednesday morning. Now, that's the system that does have the possibility of bringing us some accumulating snow. Now, we're too far out to have specifics on this, and I've mentioned it earlier. Computer models right now are showing anywhere from 4 to 24 inches of snow. So don't panic yet. Don't flood the stores. But we want to keep an eye on this system because I think accumulating snow is likely with this system. And as we get closer, we'll be able to refine those amounts and tell you exactly how much we're going to get. But it's just something to keep an eye on as we head through the next several days. And the one Sunday, Saturday into Sunday, definitely going to bring some slick spots. So as you're heading to church Sunday morning, just take it easy. Maybe leave a little early to make sure you get there on time safely.
Thank you for the heads up and the forecast, Chris. A former gymnastic coach takes a plea deal for child sex crimes. 46-year-old Kip Johnson of Joplin pleads guilty to 2 counts of second-degree statutory sodomy. Prosecutors dropped the charge of furnishing pornography to a minor as a part of the deal. Joplin police arrested Johnson in February of 2021 for crimes they say happened in 2018 and 2019. They say he assaulted a juvenile victim who was his gymnastics student at the time. 3 area fire departments respond to a restaurant fire near Monette. Just before 5:45 Thursday morning, reports of a fire at Club's Caf south of Monette alerted Berry County Emergency Dispatch. Monette Rural Fire District, Monette City Fire Department, and Purdy Engine all responded. Upon arrival, first responders saw flames coming out the vent system to the rear of the building and through the front of the building from the kitchen area. Crews managed to bring the fire under control by 6:15. The kitchen sustained most of the damage, with smoke affecting the remainder of the building. A string of recent vacant home fires have caught Joplin firefighters by surprise. KOAM Sagoon Bomadelli learned that the fire department is seeing an uptick in these calls.
The Joplin Fire Department is responding to more vacant structures than they have in the past.
You know, within the city of Joplin, we do seem like we have a lot of structure fires. It's not much more than most communities. A lot of those are within vacant structures, but it's one of those situations where a vacant structure is always going to be at greater risk of having a fire than one that have people in it and tending to it all the time.
Despite the buildings being empty, firefighters must respond.
We don't ever go into the situation thinking that there's no one in it. There could be somebody inside it that may even be in there illegally. And while that's not, someone being in there illegally is not appropriate, it's still someone that we have to go in and save. The second reason that we do it is that if we just let a fire go, then it threatens all of the property around it, and we don't want to see anyone's property get destroyed.
I'm at the Joplin's Police Department, where I spoke to a police captain who explains to me the role of police officers in a trespassing case. And he also explains to me what this sheet of paper called a trespass affidavit can do to protect homeowners and their properties.
An additional step that the homeowners can do is come to the Joplin Police Department and they can fill out a trespass affidavit. This is a legal document that's signed by the owner of the vacant property. They provide their contact information and they sign the piece of paper that says that they will assist in prosecution if somebody is located on that property that shouldn't be there.
Getting friendly with neighbors can save a property.
Somebody owns a vacant house, get to know the neighbors. If the neighbors see somebody on that property that shouldn't be there, then they can call the police. And when the police arrive, if that address does in fact have a trespass affidavit on it, it gives us more ability to get that person off that property.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagmamdele, KOAM News.
Both police and fire departments says regardless of the circumstances, protecting the residents of Joplin is their first priority. This morning, we are discussing recording the police.
Yeah, Public Safety Commissioner in Mississippi says an incident with police in the state last year made it evident that a law must be passed that would put more distance between people and police when recording law enforcement activity. He says he's in full support of House Bill 448, which is in committee right now. He says it will create a safety perimeter when law enforcement is working.
The proposed bill prohibits a person who is not the subject of police contact from video recording law enforcement activity within a certain number of feet of the law enforcement officer when the officer has given clear verbal instruction to the person to stand no less than 15 feet away from the activity.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Does the public have the right to record law enforcement officers? So far, 94% of you say yes, 6% of you say no. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Sounds good. That's a look at our top stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. If it's your Friday, knowing that means we got our big three stories of the week and we got Shannon Becker in the studio. What could you want more on a Friday?
Well, you might want to know that it's going to be a little chilly today, and you might also want to know, unfortunately, that we are tracking snow chances in the next few days. We'll break it all down when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Welcome back. It's time to close out the week with our own Shannon Becker and his top three stories. Welcome back, Shannon.
Hello, how are you today?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Hey, good. The weekend's here. Congrats.
Finally.
You've made it. Let's take a look at the big three live and breaking stories of the week. Joplin News first. You can find out more details on Athena Brownfield, the story that really has gripped a lot of us. I know we started following this the day that she was announced missing by the OSBI as this investigation unfolded in Cato County. In fact, they finally have located her body. The man now charged with first-degree murder was her caretaker. And overnight, in fact, last night about 9 o'clock, he was brought back to Oklahoma and checked into the Cato County Jail in Surreal, Oklahoma. More will be revealed in this tragic story. Her obituary, we have it now up online, and then also you can read more about the funeral services, which will be held this next Wednesday. Our number two live and breaking story. This was something to me, I tell you, I could not believe what I was seeing in front of me. A tractor trailer had overturned, taking down power poles and utility lines along Jack Pine Road, just outside of Carthage. It was about an 8-hour ordeal, and about 4,000 people were without power to begin with across Webb City, Oronogo, Purcell, and Alba. Actually, the driver was not even injured. He just went to a local hotel afterwards. So amazingly, he was not injured. Those were active power lines. Fire department had to stay back for a little bit of time because, obviously they could be shocked, shooting water on active power lines like that. Once again, roadway is open back again. That happened Tuesday night. Our number one story, live and breaking news in Joplin News First, the revealing of the memorial bench for the Joplin police officers It's Corporal Ben Cooper and Officer Jake Reed. We've been talking about this since November. The bench from Quality Memorials is also sponsored by G&H Concrete and our friends at Mount Hope Cemetery. It's been placed now because in anticipation of the March 8th remembrance, which is coming up. Something like this takes a long time to put together and then obviously not only engrave, but then pour the concrete and stuff. You can read more about all of this. It was a private ceremony the other morning. It was the dedication. And then our bonus story, you've been talking about it already. We were there for both of these fires. It was 2 days in a row, vacant houses burned next door to each other. This is 1820 South Pearl, and then 1818 South Pearl, the next day burned. Both obviously suspicious fires. And you know, the Joplin City Council has been talking about homeless ideas, and if people have ideas, to bring them to the council. And they'll be taking a closer look at some options for these vacant residences. But something that people need to really know that it's not just a Joplin problem. You know, it's a problem in every city in America. But if people want to take a stab at that, then go ahead. Joplin City Council meets every other Monday. It's our big 3 stories of the week, live and breaking news.
Wow, it's been a crazy week.
Every week's a crazy week if you're me.
Of course, but I definitely think the memorial bench is very beautiful.
Very powerful. And it's a permanent display there where those shootings occurred in the North Park crossing in front of the Buckle. So check that out.
Very beautiful. Well, we'll be right back with birthdays and anniversaries right after this. We take this time to honor today's 4th-state hero, Ronald Sawyer. Sergeant First Class Sawyer served in the Army from 1993 to 2009. He served in Afghanistan with the HHC 17th Infantry Battalion. During his service, he was awarded a Bronze Star, 8 Army Achievement Medals, and the Purple Heart. A native of Commerce, Oklahoma, we thank you. Today's 4th-state hero, Ronald Sawyer.
All right, time for some Finally Friday birthdays, and starting off in Mound Valley, where Walker James Thompson is celebrating birthday number 3, and this comes with love from Mimi and Papa. Happy birthday, Walker.
Olivia Friend is turning 9 in Coral Junction, Missouri. Happy birthday from Mom, Dad, Nina, Sissy, and Junior. We love you.
And over in Jasper, we've got Roger Rush celebrating number 48. Happy birthday, Roger.
And we got Petty Yarnell turning 70 in Erie, Kansas.
And over in Chanute, we're celebrating with Dawn Bond, who's celebrating number 75. And this birthday wish comes from your brothers. Happy birthday, Dawn.
Mike and Letha Evans is celebrating their 28th anniversary in Frontenac, Kansas. Happy 28th anniversary from Maggie, Cody, and all of their family.
We've also got Judy Grant in Columbus celebrating. We also have Jeannie Robinson over in Baxter Springs. And Donna Hargis celebrating number 88 in Joplin. And this is happy birthday from your son, Greg. Fantastic list of birthdays, but I feel like it was lacking something. It was more birthdays. Amber can tell you where you need to send them so that we can make this list 10 times as long.
You can submit the birthdays to birthdays with an S at KOAMTV.com or birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com.
And while you're at our website, why don't you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club, because it's a really good idea, and here's why. You get some special deals from local businesses. You also get a special birthday message. Amber, you okay over there? All right, she's okay. But you also get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to KOAMNewsNow.com. Sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. We've got a chilly start for us today across the region, but it is seasonable. And take a look at the sunrise out there on the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline. Looks pretty darn good. We're at 26 right now with a calm breeze, and that's the good news, is the wind is going to be a lot calmer today. So even though it's chilly, it could feel a lot worse out there. 23 Iola, 22 Chanute, Parsons, Yates Center, 24 Miami, 27 Neosho, Carthage, and 26 in Lamar and Anderson as we start this day. And there's that MoDOT camera again. Look at the colors in that sunrise. It looks gorgeous this morning. We have a green light for your morning drive as we will be partly cloudy, which you can see, and cold. And we have a green light for your drive home because you will see later that will be partly cloudy and still on the chilly side. Kids getting on the bus in approximately 9 minutes and 55 seconds. We're looking at 28 degrees at 7 a.m. with a calm wind. And as they come home at 3 o'clock, we're looking at about 38 degrees, partly cloudy, still calm. We're looking at a high of 44 in Joplin. We're going to be anywhere from the upper 30s to the lower 40s again today, partly cloudy and calm winds, which I can't emphasize enough because it's been so breezy lately. Then we're down to 31 tonight, partly cloudy, not looking too bad. But then we've got some stuff to talk about. A couple of chances of snow coming up. First, tomorrow, 44. We'll start with rain, and then the temperatures will drop as they normally do. This isn't an Arctic front or anything coming through. And as the temperatures drop, it's going to transition to a wintry mix and some light snow late Saturday into Sunday morning. Could see maybe 1-2 inches of snow out of this. Nothing significant, but definitely some slick spots on the roadway. 37 Sunday. Monday looks great, up to 50. And then early Tuesday morning, we're going to start with rain, and then that'll transition later to a wintry mix and then to snow. And that snow could last into very early Wednesday. And as you see, we get quite cold, down to 19 and only 36 by Wednesday. That's the system that we're watching that could bring us some actual accumulating snowfall. So you need to keep an eye on that. Be cautious Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then we're all keeping an eye on this system as we head into next week as well. And after that, we make it up to 42 by Thursday. We're winding down this hour of news and weather, but before we bring you the news you need to know before you head out that door, why don't we take one more stop by the mothership and see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, the one, the only, the great Dolly Parton. There she is. Talks to Nate and Tony about her partnership with Duncan Hines for her limited baking collection. Rumor has it, it's very good. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A former gymnastic coach takes a plea deal for child sex crimes. 46-year-old Kip Johnson of Joplin pleads guilty to 2 counts of second-degree statutory sodomy. Prosecutors dropped the charge of furnishing pornography to a minor as a part of the deal. Joplin police arrested Johnson in February of 2021 for crimes they say that happened in 2018 and 2019. They say he assaulted a juvenile victim who was his gymnastics student at the time. Just before 5:45 Thursday morning, reports of a fire at Club Cafe South of Monette alerted Berry County Emergency Dispatch. Monette Rural Fire District, Monette City Fire Department, and Purdy Engine all responded. Upon arrival, first responders saw flames coming out the vent system to the rear of the building and through the front of the building from the kitchen area. Crews managed to bring the fire under control by 6:15. The kitchen sustained most of the damage, with some smoke affecting the remainder of the building. A string of recent vacant home fires have caught Joplin firefighters by surprise. The Joplin Fire Department is responding to more vacant structure fires than they have in the past. Every year, the Joplin Fire Department tries to inspect all businesses in the city. Some of those inspections took place on Thursday. According to Captain Grimes, the purpose of the inspections are to make sure the property, employees, and customers are safe. Each of the 6 fire departments in Joplin will inspect 100 to 200 businesses a year. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, what you need to know is we're going to be cold but seasonable, up to 44 for a high. Some of us topping out in the upper 30s and lower 40s. We're going to be partly cloudy and calm winds, which is a great thing. As we head into tonight, we remain partly cloudy, dropping back down to a low of about 31 degrees. Then it's the next few days we want to talk about real quick. Saturday, some rain translating into a wintry mix into the overnight hours and light snow, maybe a couple of inches of snow, so watch out for slick spots heading into Sunday morning, up to 37 on Sunday, 44 tomorrow. 50 on Monday, and then we're watching early Tuesday where we're going to see some rain turn into a wintry mix and more snow, and that snow could last into early Wednesday morning, and that could be a system that brings us a little bit more in the way of accumulating snowfall, so something we're going to keep an eye on. Otherwise, temperatures remaining seasonable. They're not too bad out there.
Coming up today at noon, we're making bacon and cheese lovers pie in Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Ahead on CBS Mornings, a close-up look at the federal government's crackdown on the deadly scourge of fentanyl. See CBS News correspondent Jeff Pueguez right along with immigration and customs enforcement agents.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, you want to hear the big 3 stories of the week. We got your big 3 stories of the week with Shannon Becker returns to the studio to help us close out the week.
Plus, KOAM got to ride along with the Pittsburgh Police Department. We'll show you what a day in the life of a police officer is really like. And of course, as we mentioned, we're keeping an eye on those snow chances. Can't emphasize it enough. We're still a ways out from that Tuesday one, but stay here with KOAM as myself, Doug, and Sam continue to keep you updated. And that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you here today at noon.